So it was so embarrassing. I really wanted to just hide behind the front desk, and I had nowhere to run. And
This is Small Business Celebration, where we introduce you to successful small business owners at their place of business so that you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business and get your next big breakthrough. Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about, you've started your business and it's been going for a while, and you get all these friends and families and acquaintances and well-intentioned people that want to give you the right advice to help you grow a great business. The problem is some of their advice might be right, some of it might be wrong. How can you determine which to listen to and which not to? We're also going to be talking about, okay, you've got a whole army of employees. It could be one employee, it could be 10,000 employees, but you're running into a lot of overtime. How do you go through and change the schedules, or how do you go through and make things so that you're not spending so much money on paying for overtime? And our guest this week is Salomon Avila, the owner of Mauricio's Grill and Cantina. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
thank you, Michael.
And for visionaries who don't know who are you and what is it that you do?
My name is Salomon Avila. Most people knows me and they call me by Sal. You're more than welcome to call me Sal or call me Salomon. Either way, it's fine. Most of the time, I don't become Salomon until I'm in trouble. Okay?
It's only when your mother says, Salomon Avila, then you know you're in trouble.
Then I'm in trouble, yes, sir. Yes.
As the owner, you've owned this restaurant for how many years now?
For the 28 plus,
How did you get into the restaurant business?
I have always worked on the restaurant business on one capacity or another, from a busboy to a server to bartender, so you name it. Eventually, it's a normal step that you take once you've been working for long enough on an industry that you like. You feel that you belong there. Right around the time that I got married, that was my big decision. I would try to be a self-employed and open my own restaurant.
Did you expect to work as many hours that you did as a business owner?
No, that was actually a factor that I was never even in my thought. That I had a business owners had it made. All they had to do is point and then walk away. And I guess I was strong on that aspect.
Why did you choose this location on Rosedale Highway for your restaurant?
I initially started with my first restaurant right across the road from here. On this particular lot, it was unbuilt, it was empty. I just happened that I looked at it every day across the road through the windows. And the initial thought, that would be good for a restaurant. And little by little, that idea started to form into a plan, kind of like a dream. And then little by little, it becomes something that you see it every day and you think, that would be good. Eventually it became reality. I was able to fulfill my dream of building this restaurant.
We met you through a previous guest on Small Business Celebration, Yoli Atkinson of B&B Custom Designs. How did you meet Yoli?
Yoli she's a frequent guest, a client over here at the restaurant, and she comes quite often. So we can become friends through the fact that she frequents the restaurant. She brings friends, family members. She celebrates special occasions from birthdays to, you name it. That's how I met Yoli.
How did you learn that this kind of layout was going to be successful for your business?
It's based on how the flow of people, how do we want to see them walking around and coming and going. The design is done so we can provide the guest that wants to be a little quietness.
Right.
We have dining room, and then they want sports, to be watching sports, and it's a little louder.
Right.
We are able to have both segments of our clientele somewhat separate and please them with what they want.
At the same time, even.
Yes.
That's smart.
So that works for us.
Why did you choose to name the restaurant Mauricio's and not Salomon's?
I think Mauricio's has a better ring to it than Salomon. So, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Has Mauricio's Grill and Cantina always been Mauricio's Grill and Cantina, or has it been a different name?
It started as a Mauricio's Mexican food.
Okay.
That's how it originated.
Why the change?
At the time, name it Mauricio's Mexican food, which it was logical to what we did on our business. I was looking for a way to differentiate the name of my business. So I decided to change it to that of Mauricio's Grill and Cantina.
And you trademarked it.
And I did register the mark of Mauricio's Grill and Cantina.
Why is that? Why did you trademark the name?
For a couple different reasons. One of it is just the protection that it gives you, the right to protect the mark of your business. The other one is that locally you don't have to file for a fictitious business name every so often. I don't know how often you have to pay the registration fee and publish a fictitious business name.
Right.
I think it is every 2 years.
But now you don't have to, because that's the legal trademark name.
Yes, so we don't have to have a fictitious business name because we use our trade name.
And if you're looking for a new house that's near Mauricio's Grill and Cantina because you like Salomon's food so well, might I suggest you reach out to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear here on Small Business Celebration, just like Camilla, who asked. We're receiving numerous suggestions from well-meaning individuals on how we might enhance our business. How do you determine which guidance to follow?
As a business owner, quite often hear suggestions from our guests on what we should do and what would work better. I like to listen to all the ideas that my guests might have. Sometimes I'm playing them on my head, and I can know whether it's something that I could implement on my business,
right,
or not. And many times, even if I'm not going to implement them, I do take them in consideration, just because you never know when you are actually going to really get a good idea.
Tell me the story about the 200 tequilas.
Okay, that's...
This was a suggestion by a customer that you should carry all these tequilas, and you did. What happened?
Yes, over the, on the early years of owning Mauricio's, some of my customers and some of my employees that had more experience than I did suggested that we should increase our selections of tequila to be able to offer more variety.
Right.
So we embarked on this journey of buying a great number of different bottles of tequila, to the point that we had around 200 different types of tequilas. We liked the idea of being able to say, oh, we have the largest selection of tequila.
Sure.
And, at 200 different tequilas is pretty extensive.
Right.
Soon after that, I started to realize that my bottles of tequila would just be there on the shelf for months and months to come.
Oh, no.
And after a period of time, once you open a bottle of tequila, you have to dispose of it. You cannot have it open forever.
You have to throw it away.
You have to throw it away. And I realized having a lot of tequilas to offer doesn't necessarily is the best idea if you're not selling them.
And nobody's drinking it.
Nobody drinking them, and then every so many months, every 3, 4, 5 months, you have to dispose of them.
So you're taking all of this money you've put into tequila and pouring it down the drain.
Yes, yes, yes. So it was, needless to say, a learning experience.
How many bottles of tequila do you have now?
Now we keep our inventory around 20, maybe 25.
So
And
10% of what you had
Yes,
before.
yes. But now those 20 or 25 different types of tequila, we are selling them.
And not pouring them down the drain.
Not throwing it away. Yes, that's the big difference now.
How do you decide on what to put on a menu and what not to put on a menu? Because you could put a lot of different things, like you did the 200 tequilas, and overwhelm your customers. How do you determine what you put on the menu and what you don't?
The organization of our menu, we apply the tequila formula on a very simple way. If it doesn't sell, doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to take a space. It goes from taking a space on the menu to taking a space on our shelves. If something is not selling, it's literally sitting somewhere.
Right.
Right? So just because it's on the menu and it's not selling, it's no reason to keep it on the menu. We make a point that we reprint menus every so often so we can remove items that are not selling, that are not rotating enough for us to be able to maintain fresh inventory.
When you opened the restaurant 28 years ago, how much has the menu changed since then?
A lot, drastically. We might still have maybe 20% of the original dishes.
Really?
I'm not 100% sure if 20% is accurate.
Right.
For the sake of the conversation, I would say about 20% of the original dinners is still on the menu.
And that brings us to the Visioneer Game. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the words this generator is going to create, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has taken each of 3 words that I give him and somehow associate each word with his business. Now, you do realize, Sal, that the entire restaurant industry is based on your ability to get all 3 words correct. Are you ready?
Goodness sake, no pressure. No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever. Okay, your first word is light.
Light.
Yeah.
Like lightning. When working on our restaurant, really get real busy and overwhelmed with customer. We could work like lighting.
Nice. Well done. Very nice. Okay, very good. Oh, your second word is safari.
Safari.
Yeah, safari.
Where were those words?
I know.
Having a successful business would definitely provide for you or me to go in a safari.
Nice. Well done, you. That's 2 for 2. Okay, your third word. This is for everything.
That's for all the beans and rice.
All the beans and rice. Your third word is introduction.
It is important to have a presence when we are when we're working on the restaurant and have an introduction with our guests so they know that we are going to be taking care of them on their visit.
Very good. That's 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
The restaurant world is safe because of you.
Thank you, Michael. You're so kind.
But part of those introductions come in a way that you don't expect them, and it's sometimes a lesson learned, because you had a time a while ago that you had an introduction, somebody who came into the restaurant that you met out on the street while you were driving. What happened?
Okay. Driving down the road, another driver moving to my lane that I thought I was being too close, changing lanes too close to me, so I proceed to honk.
You honk your horn?
Frantically, yes, more than once. This driver responded by, honking back to me too. So all of a sudden we started to have a honking contest back and forth. So finally I went on my way toward the restaurant,
right,
which is where I was heading. And to my surprise, no soon as I got to the restaurant, I was standing at the front desk that I have a couple that came into the restaurant. It happened to be that they were the drivers of the car that I had been honking. So it was so embarrassing. I wanted to just hide behind the front desk, and I had nowhere to run, and it was embarrassing. So I learned out of that lesson not to be honking at the. I'm not sure if they recognize me though.
Right.
It's not that they say anything to me, but the way they looked at me when they came in, I almost sure that they also had the sense that I had been the driver on the road honking at them. So embarrassing to say the least.
You'll never do that again.
Have not done that again. Yes. I knock on wood. Hope I'll never do that again.
How often do you interact with the public when you're here at the restaurant?
Every time I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm always walking around the dining room.
Uh-huh.
I make it a point to stop, if not at every table, and ask if everything is going okay. If everything is going all right with their dinner.
Sure.
And I'm always walking around. If I see a familiar face, someone that I might have seen before, I always say hi. Sometimes if I know their name, I address them by their name. But yeah, quite often when I'm here, I'm always walking around. I love saying hi to people.
Why is talking to your guests so important for your business?
I think it's a way of finding a connection also. Being able to show them that you are present, that you are here, I might not be their server, and I might not be their buzzer cleaning their tables. I'm here to make sure that everything is okay. Everything goes all right, and we can provide them with an excellent service and excellent food.
How do you decide how big or what the portion size of a meal is so that the consumer will eat it and you don't have to throw it away?
We use different methods of arriving to the portion, but when it comes to protein, and depend on the protein, we use sometimes 7 ounces, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, up to 12 ounces of protein.
Wow.
Which, 12 ounces is really what it seems like a lot, but when you do on a steak, the 12 ounces steak is actually pretty normal. Pretty normal. 12 ounces of steak, whether it is a New York steak or just about any steak that you think. 12 ounces is very normal. You pair it with a cup of size. We serve them with rice and beans. People love those portions.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is also brought to you by Mike Saba. Selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. And the second Visioneer question comes from Frank, who asks, we're incurring higher overtime costs from our staff than we believe is necessary. How can we organize work schedules to maximize productivity without incurring overtime?
That's a good question. And we, as business owners, we have always encountered that to be one of the challenges that we have. One way that I do is identify through every day, a slow periods of time during the days where I can move the work that needs to be done. I find this process to be very helpful. Instead of have employees work ahead of time on the preparation that we need to do for the restaurant, finding the slow periods during the day, between lunch and dinner perhaps, that is the best time for we could also prepare ahead of time. So this way we create enough work to have our employees that are already on the clock, working and being productive right there.
How did you learn this lesson?
The hard way, paying a lot of overtime when it was not necessarily.
Because what was happening? What was driving these employees into overtime?
Many times because the list of work or duties that they had to do, you assign them at times that it is not the most adequate time.
So they were doing them later in the day, or pushing that work after it was busy, so that they were doing things that was sending them into overtime rather than having them do it when things were slow?
Yes, many times if you don't allocate a list of duties of work that each employee has to be doing or do at a specific time, you create a backlog of the work that it has to be done many times before they leave. Right. The work needs to be done on the same day. Doesn't necessarily has to be done at the end of the shift. It can be done on between if you incorporate it during their work hours.
There's a lot of turnover in employees in the restaurant business. How do you keep your employees here for the long term?
I hear that that's a problem in the restaurant industry. I do hear that quite often.
Right.
I myself do not have that problem.
Really?
75% of the employees at Mauricio's have worked for this company for longer than 20 years.
Congratulations.
75%. From the rest of the employees, I have 10 years, 7 years, 5 years, and I only have one employee that has been with me less than 2 years.
How do you keep them?
I really don't think that I do anything special for them. We have an environment that is built on trust and accountability. And over the years, it has worked real good. I don't micromanage my employees. In fact, that's something that I do not like to do. If I don't enjoy looking over their shoulders. So if I have to do that, I will not keep them very long. I trust my employees. I invest time and resources on training them properly, and I let them be themselves. I let them do their job. I let them express their own personality. For me, it has worked out. It has worked real good.
It's no secret that a lot of business owners are having difficulty right now. They're having a rough time. What do you say to make them feel better or give them encouragement that it's going to be okay?
First of all, remembering why we got into a business on our own, We wanted to be our own boss. We wanted to create our own destiny. So don't shy away with the responsibilities just because you have too much work and not enough customers perhaps. Spend time on your business, stay there, spend more hours there, even when you think that it's not necessarily. Normally, I always show them that it could be worse when I point out to working on the restaurant industry, long hours, late in the evening. So it could be worse if they, so that helped them to overcome normally their complaining or whining, if you would.
Sal, this has been a real privilege. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me here. This has been a great experience. It has been an excellent way of being able to talk about Mauricio's.
Thank you. And if Visioneers, our audience, wants to learn more about you, how do they do that?
Our phone number is 661-589-5292. We are located at 10700 Roselle Highway in Bakersfield, California, or they can find us online at mauriciosgrill.com. If they want to get in touch with me, they can do it either one of those ways. They can drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to answer the phone for them, or they can visit. And when they hear, ask for me, and I'll be more than happy to come to the table and say hi to them.
And I'll be right back with my final thought, why you should let the other person do the great deal of talking. Why you should let the other person do all the talking. Recently, I was having lunch with a bunch of Visioneer business owners, and even though I've been in business for more than 8 years, I was the new kid. I was the newbie at the table, and we talked about a whole variety of different things. But one of the things that was going around the table were the biggest lessons that you've learned in the last 10 years of your business. And the conversation made the way around the table, and it finally fell upon this one gentleman, and we were really intrigued to learn from him because he's been in business for more than 20 years. His business stretches across 30 states, and his business crossed the 2 comma mark in profitability a long time ago. And after a moment of him thinking and pondering, he finally started talking about employee number 3. You see, this employee, she had been with him practically from the very beginning, and she is very much a fundamental part of the business, even to this day. And so you can imagine his surprise when she came in one day and announced to him that she was quitting. She had had enough. Surprised, he put his phone down and sat back and asked, "What's wrong?" Well, then she started talking about her son. Her son had recently gotten engaged to a woman that the employee really didn't like. And not only that, but all the things that this new girlfriend, fiance was doing was rubbing her the wrong way. And as the Visioneer listened to his employee talk, he was thinking, wait a minute. Is this the same son that, like, last week was having problems with his junior high chemistry project? And as the employee talked about how she really didn't like the fiance's extended family, the mother was pretty okay, but not so much the family, and the things they do was just rubbing her the wrong way, the Visioneer realized he hadn't had a meaningful conversation with his employee in like a decade. And so he let her vent. He let her talk. And he learned a whole bunch of things about her personal life that he realized he desperately needed to catch up on, just if nothing else, for her own mental well-being. And when the employee got done venting, he took out his paper calendar. Yes, he uses a paper calendar. And he said, you know, you and your husband and my wife and I, we need to get together for dinner. We haven't done that in a very long time. We just need to catch up. And with that, the employee smiled and nodded and agreed, and they picked a date and a location to have dinner. And the employee is still working for him to this day, all because he let the other person do all the talking. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough.
The best way to make an authentic margarita is using fresh lime juice, a good brand of tequila. Your margarita has the tequila that you use. If you use a good brand of tequila, you will not have to add too many other mixers. typically we like to add triple sec to counteract the sourness of the lime juice. But you don't need much more than that. Good tequila, fresh lime juice, and some triple sec to counteract the sourness. We have some custom artwork in the restaurant. We hire an artistic person or someone that was real good on painting to do all the painting of the restaurant. If you can see the murals as you come in and as you sit around on the restaurant, they were custom paint by a painter that we hired to do all of that here at the restaurant. Food waste we have a process separating. Some of the greens goes to the green bucket because that has to be disposed on a proper container. Other waste goes into the regular waste of the restaurant that we throw away. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. We deal with a crazy person at the bar, or I would say someone that has drunk one too many times by simply sliding a card that says, we had to cut you off. Do you like us to call you a taxi cab? Nowadays, an Uber ride, or for you to be taken home? We cannot serve you anymore. So we try not to embarrass our guests, so that's hence a card that has everything written. Restaurants change their menu once or twice per year, and it's recommended that you do that. If not change entirely the whole body of the menu, revamp your menu with giving you the opportunity to remove those dinners that don't sell too much, or make changes to the dinners that you want to keep on your restaurant. The darker the tequila is, the longest it has been aged, and typically it's gonna be the smoothest one. But nowadays also the one that has the most additives. Unfortunately, that's the marketing of the large companies make us believe that by adding all kinds of sugar into tequila, it has been aged to the point that it's the best you are drinking, so not necessarily. The most popular food in a Mexican restaurant are fajitas. For some reason, all Mexican restaurants, we focus and center our menu on being able to offer fajitas, whether they grilled chicken, grilled steak, or grilled shrimp. For one reason or another, consumer has grown accustomed to know that fajitas is the most original and typical dish that they can order in a Mexican restaurant.